Can't keep my hands to myself. Hands to myself. Can't keep my hands to.
Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So if you see me resting like my hand on this, it's because my glass table is right here. I'm like squeezed between the sofa and the glass table, but this lighting is absolutely perfect, so that's the reason why I'm sitting here. But anyways, I figured today I would tell you guys about my hair salon horror story, because I actually just did my natural hair update video, and a lot of you guys had questions about how I started wearing wigs and just what was the reason behind that. So I figured I would explain it to you guys now. So of course I'm going to give you guys some background history. Before I did YouTube, I never touched a wig. I barely even wore, well, I did wear weave, but what I would do is I would glue it in. Like I would, because I used to be relaxed, I would have my hair relaxed and then I would glue in the tracks, and that is how I used to wear it. And I actually liked it that way because it did look pretty natural. I'll stick like a picture or two there for you so you can see, but because I'm not relaxed anymore, that definitely would not work anymore. So anyways, when I started YouTube, I actually started, I'd say it was October 2011. I do remember that. It was October 2011, and I'd say around 2012 I started getting like companies asking me to do reviews of wigs and half wigs and things like that. So the first review I ever did was on a half wig, and I actually liked it a lot, and then eventually I started doing reviews on wigs. But I started collecting a lot of them because of that, but I never actually wore them out because I always felt uncomfortable wearing them out. I always thought something would happen, like falling off or something crazy, so I just never wore them out. But I'd say around 2013 I started to get a little more comfortable with it, and I would randomly wear them to events and things like that, but never on a daily basis like I do now. But what happened was I had Layla back in 2014, and I had started going natural, and because I was going natural and transitioning, my hair it just looked a mess. So what I decided to do was, after I had Layla, I wanted to actually cut it really short, so that way it would cut off all of my relaxed hair, and that way it would just be more natural and it would look good that way. So I went through my entire pregnancy and my hair was not relaxed. It was almost a year to the point when I had Layla that I had not relaxed my hair. So after I had Layla, I actually went up to New Jersey for a week because my husband, he was inside of like training, so he could not be home for that beginning time. And so I actually went up to New Jersey to have my parents help me because I had just given birth. So while I was up there, I remember telling my little sister that I wanted to get my hair cut because I just had Layla, and it was actually pretty long, like the transitioning hair, and so I told her I wanted it all cut off. Did she know anyone or any salon that does like a good job with cutting people's hair? And so she told me about a salon that was actually down the street from us, and she was like, yeah, you know, I go there all the time to get my not extensions, to get to get extensions, but to get sew-ins or whatever. And so I was like, okay, well, do they do natural hair? And she's like, I'm sure they do, because they show it on their Instagram a lot. And so she had given me like their Instagram, and she was showing me all the haircuts they did. But most of the haircuts, actually all the haircuts I saw were more like on sew-ins and stuff like that. But I'm like, hey, if you can cut a sew-in, then you can definitely cut, like, you know, my own hair. So I was like, oh, okay, you know, I'll go there. And I asked her for the number. Actually, I first asked her to call them, and I kept telling her for a couple days, can you call them for me, because she knows them and I wanted her to get me like a deal. But of course, you know, she just wasn't doing fast enough for me. So what I did was I eventually called them myself. And since I just had Layla, I was nursing like I'd say every 2 hours. So I had called them up, and the lady had answered, and she sounded like she was in a hurry in a way. But I had asked her, I explained to her, like, first my situation, how I had just given birth and I was still nursing, and if there was any available openings as soon as they opened in the morning, because I needed that spot, you know, so that I could easily get home to my daughter and I wouldn't have to wait for anyone else to get their hair done and stuff, and, you know, just be longer than I should have been. So she was like, sure, and on top of it, she did give me her name, you know, and she was like, sure, you can come in at this time. So I was like, okay, great, perfect. So I had it all set up, and the very next day was actually the appointment. And my dad ended up dropping me off, even, I think we were like 10 to 15 minutes early, and the store was closed then. So we were like, okay, you know, obviously I'm the first person, so we're just gonna wait until we see someone opening it up. And so about 5 minutes went by, and then some lady came up to the door. So she had unlocked it, and she had actually all these like bags in her hand and stuff like that. So I obviously got out of the car and went inside the salon, and I'm sitting in there because by then, like, wherever she had went in the back, I guess, but it was still unlocked. So I came in and sat down in like their little lobby area, and I was sitting there for a few minutes, and then she came out in the front, and she looked like shocked that I was there, and she's like, "Can I help you?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm here for an appointment." And I gave her the lady's name, and I started to explain, why I was here, and she's like, "Oh yeah, I'm that lady." She's like, "I actually don't think we have anyone coming in right now." She's like, "So I'm going to actually call in one of our salon people to come in and help you." I'm thinking to myself, why am I here if you don't have like someone to come in to cut hair right now? And she asked me what I had wanted, and I explained to her again what I was going to get done with my hair. And so she was like, "Hold on." So she called in some lady, I guess, or a salon person, and she told her that she needed to come in now. And so then what had happened was she was like, "I'm going to be right back." So she had walked literally out the salon. I was sitting in the salon by myself for about 10 minutes. And she came back. Across the street was a Dunkin' Donuts. She came back with like Dunkin' Donuts stuff. And I'm just like, this is so sketch. Like, you literally left me in your salon and like went to get Dunkin' Donuts. So I'm just like, okay, whatever. Mind you, I know because of her name and the name of Salon, she was the owner. So anyway, she came back with her stuff from Dunkin' Donuts, and she was sitting at like the front desk eating it for a while, and I'm just sitting there like waiting for the lady she had called to come. And so after a few minutes, I say it was like 10, not even a few, I say 10, 15 minutes after that, she had decided, she like randomly got up, and she was kind of like giving me an attitude, but she was like, "I guess I'll wash your hair while we wait for her." And so I'm like, okay, trying to be nice, because I don't know. I'm a nice person, so I was trying to be nice to her. I'm like, maybe some people just aren't morning people. So I remember we went over to the sink area over in the back, and she had like wrapped my stuff around me or whatever, like the towel and everything. And then like she was just like 1 second, and she had left for a little. And I saw she went back to the front, and she was on her iPad or whatever. And the whole time I'm over there, I was texting my sister, and I'm like, "Are you sure this is, legit?" And she's like, "Yeah, it's fine. Make sure you ask for whatever some girl's name was." She was like, "She does a really good job," or whatever. And while I was asking her all of this stuff, I also went on Instagram, and I already had followed the salon page. And every time the salon will post something, they'll either post it as one of the salon people's names underneath or the owner's name. And this lady had the nerve, while I'm sitting there waiting for my hair to be washed, she's over on her iPad, and she uploaded like a picture, I guess, of someone's hair that had been done. And mind you, I'm there and I'm on my phone on Instagram, and I see that she's uploaded while I'm waiting for her to wash my hair. So finally she comes back, and she's washing my hair. There was water everywhere. I mean, when I tell you my shirt was soaking wet, it was ridiculous. I have bought a jacket, and I remember putting it on right after she had washed me, because that's how wet I was. And then on top of it, while she was washing me, someone had came into the salon, like this older woman. She came in and she sat down. She was like, "Can I help you?" And she's like, "Yeah, I'm here for my every, whatever. I get my hair done every Wednesday," or whatever it was. And she was like, "Today's not Wednesday, today's Tuesday." And she's like, "No, today is Wednesday." And so the lady was like, "Oh, I'm sorry." After she looked at her phone, she's like, "Oh, just give me a minute, I'll be with you," or whatever. So I'm just like, this is so sketchy, and they're doing my hair. So after she had washed my hair, she had started to blow dry my hair. While she was blow drying my hair, the lady she had called to come in to do my hair came in, and she was like, "I'm so sorry, I had to get my grandparents up out of bed to drop me off because I wasn't supposed to come in today, I'm not on the schedule," or whatever. And in front of me, she's saying all this stuff. So I'm just like, well, if she wasn't supposed to come in today, who was supposed to be doing my hair? Because she's acting like she doesn't know me, and then she's acting like she wasn't even on the schedule. I'm like, this place is a mess. But the girl who was supposed to do my hair was my age, and so she seemed like she was my age, at least. I think she was my age. And so she took me, because there was two parts of the salon. One side was just like a wash station, I guess, and then the other side was like more of where you get your hair done at. But they did have stuff where you can get your hair done on the other side. Like, it was a really big salon, but it was like two buildings conjoined into one, like two of those, I don't know how to explain it, but if you go to New York City, two of those small like boutique buildings and combined into one, but this was in New Jersey. So anyways, we went over to the other side, and she took me to her like little salon area, I guess, and she was explaining to me how she had to drag her grandparents out of bed and they were complaining and stuff like that, and she's like, and they're old, and you know, she's just going on, and I'm like, I just want to get my hair done. I only have about like 45 minutes until my baby is hungry again. So I'm just like trying to smile and like, you know, hurry up or whatever. So she started blow drying out my hair again, and because the other lady hadn't finished. And then she started straightening my hair, and when I tell you, she started talking. She was telling me about everybody in the salon. She was telling me about all the clients. She told me that one of the clients' boyfriends was a drug dealer, and he actually had a wife who he had brought in at the same time as his client, and somehow both of them found out that he was cheating on them with both of them. Like, she was going on about everyone's business, and I'm just sitting there like, what in the world? And then she finally asked me how I wanted to get my hair done. So basically, because I didn't explain this in the story, what I wanted was, I wanted it to be really short, like right underneath my ear, because I had it done like that in college, so I wanted it done like that again. And I figured this would be the best time because Layla had just been born, and that's kind of like a low maintenance style. So I showed her this picture of myself of how I had it done, and then I also showed her a few pictures I had on Instagram. I think I had like 1 or 2 of Still Glamorous, if you guys follow her on YouTube, but I showed her that's how I wanted it done. I wanted it really short but cute. So she was just like, oh, I got you, this is gonna be so nice for you, and she's just going on and on. So she basically started cutting my hair and kept on telling me all these different stories, and I'm just sitting there like, she knows what she's doing, this is good. And mind you, the whole time she still has like one of those thick tiny towels wrapped around my neck because my like shirt area was still soaking wet. So she went on cutting for about 20 minutes, and then she had stopped and she's like, oh, so what do you think of this? And she handed me a mirror, and my hair between the transitioning phase, I want to say it was like right around here. So she showed it to me where it was like literally like an inch off. So if it was here, she showed it to me like right here. And I'm like, well, I kind of want it a little bit shorter. I said I really wanted to touch like right underneath my ear. And so it looked like a regular haircut to me. Like, it seemed like she had just trimmed like my ends off, but she was like, oh, okay, I got you, I know what you mean, we'll get it done or whatever. So I'm just thinking to myself, I hope she knows what she's doing, but you know, I'm here now, whatever, freak it. So she started cutting again, and she had actually asked me, is this how much you wanted to cut off? And I'm like, yeah. And so she had just like hacked it like that, and then she kept cutting and cutting. Then what had happened was, when she was done, she had showed me with the mirror, and she's like, well, what do you think? And I'm like, okay, it looks decent, it looks all right, but mind you, the towel is still around my neck. So I gave her back the mirror. She took off the towel around my neck, and she put like, I think she put a curl or 2 in it. Actually, I'm almost positive it was straight, but she was still straightening or doing whatever it was, and then she sprayed some finishing spray, and she's like, yeah, you know, make sure you come back again, you know, here is my card and stuff like that. And I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, I definitely will. So I got out of the salon, and I still had about like 10 more minutes till my dad was coming to pick me up, because he had told me he was down the street getting his car fixed. So I'm just like, oh, I'll walk over there, and you know, you could pick me up from there, like we'll drive home from there. So I started walking, and I decided to look at my hair on my phone, and I swear my mouth dropped open. It looked like I had like a mushroom top head. Like, I remember even when I was leaving, the salon owner looked at me crazy for a second. Like, I think she was thinking, what the heck did this girl do to her hair? But she didn't say it, and I wasn't thinking that because I had there was like a big V over there outside, but I had the towel still wrapped around me, so I didn't even notice that, or even think taking off the towel to really see what it looked like. So I see it on my phone, and I'm like, what? Like, this is ridiculously ugly. I was so pissed. And mind you, I only had a block to walk to my dad's, but I was so self-conscious walking there. I even put up my hoodie, and it's September, so it wasn't really that cold, but I put up my hoodie, and I just did not want anyone to see my hair. I got to my dad, and he was like, whoa, do you like it? And I'm like, no, I hate it. And I showed it to him, and he's like, oh, it's not that bad. And I'm like, yeah, it is, because, you know, of course your dad's gonna tell you it's not that bad. I remember getting inside, and my mom and my sister were there, and they're like, oh, let me see. And I showed them, I took off my hoodie or whatever, and they both were like, oh, it looks nice. You know how you do that fake, oh. I was like, this looks a mess. And so I went inside the bathroom, and I'm looking in the mirror, and I'm like, Britt, to my little sister, and she came in. I said, does one side look shorter to you than the other? She's like, oh, no, it looks okay. Now, mind you, the only reason why she's going to say it looks okay is because she is the one who actually gave me the information about the salon. So if she says it doesn't look okay, then she knows that she freaked me up. So she kept going on and on about how it looks fine. And then, which now she has mentioned to me, it did look a mess. But she didn't mention it to me a year and a half ago. So I showed my mom, and she's like, yeah, I do see how it is shorter than the other. She's like, maybe you should go back and try to see if they can fix it, but give yourself like another girl. She's like, because this one, you know, doesn't know what she's doing. And it was so bad in the back. I'm going to show you guys exactly how it looked, because I did make one video, just one video, showing you guys exactly how my hair looks. And it looked just like a mushroom top. And even back then, I had mentioned how I did not like the salon, and I wasn't going to tell you guys what salon it was because I didn't want you guys to go there. But anyways, when I went back to look at my hair in the mirror, even in the back, it was shorter on one side than the other. Like when I tell you, it was shorter on this side at the bottom, but also in the back, there was little pieces that were about that much long. And then there was other pieces right next to it that were that long. So it was like, here was here, and then the other side was like here, like that, just like this. And it wasn't like a Rihanna bob, it was just a mess. And then in the back, it was just like short pieces, long pieces, short pieces. It was a mess. So after that, I was just like, what the freak am I gonna do? I couldn't even pull, it was so short, I couldn't pull it up into a ponytail. So the bob was what it was. And what I did was I tried to actually cut it. So I figured from then on out, that was it. I had like a bunch of wigs. I wanna say I had like over 10 to 15 wigs in my closet. I just went and started putting them on and figuring out which one would work for me when I got back to Delaware. So I ended up wearing, because a company actually contacted me, I'd say like 2 weeks after this happened, and they sent me like a black natural wig, and that is what I wore for at least 6 months straight. Like that was the only thing I wore, and it just made me feel a lot more comfortable, because that's how bad my hair looked. Like it looked like they just butchered my hair. It was horrible. And it wasn't even like, if she didn't know how to cut hair short, she should have said, you know, well, this is how I think you'll look better with this, or at least, you know, said something instead of making me look a mess. And she tried to out-talk herself. Like, she talked so much to cover up what she was doing, I think. And then on top of it, not showing the finished look with the towel off, and not thinking about it, because I hadn't gone to a salon a lot, or else I would have told her, hey, you know, let me take the towel off and see for sure. But I wasn't thinking about that. But it was so bad. And then on top of it, not even knowing that I had the appointment when you were the owner, and not even knowing that I was supposed to be there. It was just so unprofessional. I would not recommend that place to anyone. It was horrible. And yeah, that's the last time I've ever actually been to a salon since then. It's actually made me not want to go back to a salon to get my hair cut. And I've had some pretty good experiences at salons, but that one I will never touch foot in again. That's about it. I hope you guys enjoyed hearing about my hair salon horror story. And that's the main reason why I wear wigs all the time. And honestly, I'm kind of glad it happened, because I don't think I would wear it as much if it hadn't happened. And now I'm completely comfortable in wigs. I absolutely love them. I honestly love them more than like sew-ins and stuff like that. Hate sew-ins. So I am sold on wigs, and it kind of was a blessing in disguise, because now I wear them like all the time and I love them. But that's about it. I hope you guys enjoyed this story time, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.